Welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. One of the more disturbing post-fight tweets, I think it was, of the Dubois versus Usyk rematch came from Turki Al-Sheikh, who said he desperately wants to see Oleksandr Usyk against none other than Moses Itauma. Now look, I wouldn't trust Turkey as far as I could throw him. He's a shady character. But I can't deny that some of those Riyadh cards have been dreams come true. And I can't deny that his comments about ending pay-per-view for Ring magazine shows and Riyadh season shows on DAZN is very much a welcome step forward in favour of the punter. Because we all know that pay-per-views are rife. The whole fucking place is awash with them. Frank Warren on Saturday with Usyk Dubois 2 was saying, we couldn't have made the fight without pay-per-view. Yes, in your business model, Frank, but if you look over at what MVP have done with Netflix, okay, those fighters are not getting the money that Usyk and Dubois were getting, but so what? Economic models are fluid. It doesn't necessarily follow that somebody should get £50 million for a fight or dollars for a fight. Surely they could make do with 15, and if they're still short of a few bob, we'll set up a GoFundMe for them. Okay, so no, pay-per-view is not some immovable force, some set in stone economic model that can't be shifted. Of course it can. So in that sense, I'm on Turkey's side when he talks about that. However, he does get carried away, doesn't he? Like a lot of excitable fans. Oleksandr Usyk, 38 years old, never looked better, against 20-year-old Moses Itauma, whose best opponent is probably Dempsey McKean, who he did in a round. I mean, why would anyone even come up with such an idea? What is the rush with Moses Itauma? There was all this talk about him beating Mike Tyson's record, which I thought was a load of rubbish. I wasn't remotely interested in that. Look, every fighter is unique. Every human being is unique. So yes, we can take inspiration from other people, but we should always realize that we are living our own lives, living our own journeys. And it's quite wrong to assume that I have to emulate someone else. Go your own way. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Don't try and be so-and-so Mark 2. Be whoever you are Mark 1. It seems absolutely ludicrous that this is... that was going on, that whole, he's got to beat Mike Tyson's record. Okay, it's a little hype thing. It's a little promotional thing. It gets Itauma's name out there. But putting him in with Oleksandr Usyk now, what the fuck for? Okay, now, Itauma is a tremendous prospect. But that's all he is. All he is. Yes, he can be fast-tracked. Yes, he's probably going to fight for a world title within a couple of years. He's probably going to... But let him, for Christ's sake, put him in there with some top 12 guys. Why not try and make... I mean, he's fighting Dillian White. I think that's a very good matchup. The old and I would say very vulnerable older White, against the young gun. Fine. If you want to go with someone your own age, how about... try and make a match with Jared Anderson. If old large infant Miller is still knocking around and hasn't been banned as he should be from boxing, stick Itauma in with him. Miller will take him rounds, you would think. But Coley, what the fuck are you talking about Usyk for? This idea that you have to take, a quantum leap, don't even cover it. This is like stepping into a different fucking universe. That Itauma next should fight Usyk is absolutely ridiculous. And let's not forget that Usyk has far more worthy world title challengers in Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabayel than Moses Itauma. What's Moses Itauma done to earn a world title shot? You know, even if you look at his past, I mean, Manny Pacquiao did more to earn that shot at Barrios than Itauma's done to earn a world heavyweight title shot, an undisputed heavyweight title shot. What's he done? He hasn't done a damn thing. You know, he hasn't even held a British title. Hasn't he? As far as I know, he hasn't held an area title. No, this is one of Turkey's biggest brain farts that he's come out with. And sometimes he gets his own way. Like, for example, I thought that Canelo versus Crawford was a gimmick fight. I still think it's a gimmick fight. But it could be better than we're expecting, than we initially expected, because of the size difference and because, all right, Bud's been inactive. Canelo has looked disinterested and lousy and bored and really quite old against that runner William Skull. No, I mean all this is just a load of fantasy nonsense, really, and it smacks of a sort of casual, in a sense, which Turkey probably knows his boxing. He's a big boxing fan, but Usyk versus Itauma, nah. That really is something that a casual would pull out of their arse. So, to me, let Itauma bring himself on. He's with Frank Warren. Warren usually brings on heavyweights, well, all fighters very, very well. He's very good at that. But let's stop with the nonsense, shall we, please? It's just ridiculous load of silliness. Because obviously, if Itauma did beat Usyk, it would be absolutely staggering. One of the great results of heavyweight history, without a shadow of a doubt. But a more likely scenario is that Usyk wins, and wins by stoppage or knockout. What's that going to do to Itauma if that happens? What's that going to do? Why are you taking a kid who's got such tremendous potential and gambling with his future in such a silly manner? Now, I know that probably Warren or someone along those lines would say, well, yeah, but look at Daniel. We stuck him in with Joe Joyce, and he got stopped, and then he came back. He fought Usyk, got stopped, and then he flew. So sometimes you learn from your mistakes, you learn from the experience. Yes, I agree with that, and I'm not gonna. Warren's been in the game for 50 whatever years. He definitely knows how to bring on fighters, but there's also the flip side to that, which is that you can have too much too soon, too much too young, and the next thing you know, you've kind of fractured the confidence or the impregnability of a fighter who really could have completely dominated the division. Suddenly they're slightly damaged. There's a doubt at the back of their mind. And yeah, I just think it's a really silly idea. But I don't know. What do you think? Maybe you disagree with me. Who would you put Itauma in with? Well, we know he's going to fight White, but when do you think he'll be ready? I'd say give him another 4 or 5 10-rounders against top 12, top 15 heavies. Let him build his resume, pick up a little bit more man strength, although he is a freak of nature. He looks like he is a fucking grown man, and he's only 20. But nevertheless, what's the fucking hurry? Let me know what you think. Comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the like button if you enjoy the video. I always appreciate your support. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to what you've got to say, and bye for now.